Hayi ke lutho ke ma uvele nje ushaya uslash
Okay, I'll
obomvu.
come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Okay ke mama. Thanks.
All right.
Okay.
Baby nampi.
Oh, sweetheart kunjani lazi?
Right, sweetheart unjani?
Right mntana sekhaya ndiyacenga ihlombi bhetere gqitha.
Onomhle.
Ndizawuthina ntombi
Akuyona uyimbokodo.
besiyovulelwa yinkosi yesizwe iParliament lethu.
All right.
Yeah, so today ke kuzoba yisopa ke.
Oh, okay.
Today bekuvula yena inkundla then bese kuba uyena ke emva kalokho. So nasendirasha ukuthi ndingene la uze ngikwazi ukuthi ngithole ilokhuzana i-background yami yangilahlekela ngoba ndifuna uba njengawe ihlobo.
Ewe noko mawuvele into ntombi kovela i-curtains.
Uyazi nje saserumini ehotel ayisuka. Nonsense. Ayisuka. So usandizama kuMorini ke uthe uzongifonela.
Okay ke love.
Yena ngizame ma ngoba ayisengikhathele manje ungabi nayo ihlobo. Sengikhathele ungabi nayo nana. Hayi ke umyuthile ke. Umyuthile.
Kanjalo nje.
Naso ke usuvulile ke ngoku enihlobo. Awusovalile futhi.
Ndiyavula bayandivala.
Oh hayi ke kusho ukuthi ngoba nakho mhlambe ufuna ukuthi andenzele lo ntsika. UMorini lena nsika yami.
Ewe mhlawumbe okanye ufuna uthetha nawe inoba ndim lo.
Sothi kudala sagqibelana ihlobo. Hayi.
Morini ndivele kahle.
Ake nivale lapho nini niyasiphazamisa.
Hayi sorry.
Uvela
Awukwazi
hayi.
abakungithetha.
Uvelaphi? Qala, velaphi before siphazamisa velaphi. Wele.
Ubaba umthetho na baba umthetho uyibambile la eThekwini nadlali.
We besiseThekwini lo azange sambona kayi-1
Hey i-engine leyo nina benoma-foot soldiers yena i-engine ebeninikeza i-program.
I-engine yawarhoba amabutho.
Hayi nenze kahle ihlobo nisebenzile.
All right ke sisi.
Andisebenzile.
Hello mama.
Nangoku uMorini ke cishana lo baba.
Hello neighbor.
Yes Thando sami.
Makhi.
Yes sweetie.
Uyabona kukho le arenyana encane nje izaba next to start video.
Hayi anginayo start video la manje no mute no stop video no participation no chat no reaction no share no captions no whiteboard. Andinayo umntana sekhaya. Ebese ndiba nale imaki. Oh nansi so ndipresse pha khona into ebengathi kuyicamera nyana. Itho mamela khona reset all khona background.
Abithi choose visual background.
Ke ithi background ke ngifaka background it khona background blur no color. Oh Thixo. No auto framing. Hey, Jesus. Mike lokhuzana ke sithando sami. Ke khona lokhuzana ithi background ibisithi nani ngezansi. Why? Sis Morini?
Hello ma.
Ithi background ezansi ka background ibisithi nani.
39. Okay, come and submit
Okay. Andiyazi mntu asekhathi kwamazulu ingaba ndacofa phi andiyazi. Nyhani ndacofa phi ihlo konje. Noma reset all. Background. Email.
No, uyibonile uvela
Where? Ngiyaphi ku-image mina vele. Face. And yes.
Mama, don't worry, ne? Okay. Hello, Mama.
Yeah, mama. Sando Sam.
Hello, ma.
Yes, my love.
Pamela bake bathi ucela sawulokhu ikhona ku-ICT akusize because ifunekile kwi-background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry, zokhuluma no-ICT.
Hayi ke kulungile ma ngoba ngibona ngathi sesoqala no it's okay. Senongilungiselela later ma. Okay sis.
Okay.
Thanks my love ngiyabonga.
Honorable Nyambi, you may proceed if there is a quorum, if the House corrects.
Thank you. Thank you.
House Chair. House Chair.
Yes, yes.
We shall indicate once we have a quorum. Our apologies.
Okay, now we'll hear from you then.
Thank you very much, House Chair. We will proceed.
Thank you, Advocate. Greetings, colleagues, honorable members. As usual, I'll bow to my right and to my left. Delegates, before we proceed, I would like to remind delegates of rules relating to
recording in progress,
virtual and hybrid meetings and sittings. In particular, parts 21, 22, and 23 of Rule 103, which provides as follows. The virtual sitting constitutes a sitting of the National Council of Provinces. Delegates in the sitting enjoy the same powers and privileges that apply in a sitting of the National Council of Provinces. For purposes of the quorum, all delegates who are logged on to the virtual platform shall be considered present. Delegates must switch on their videos if they want to speak. Delegates should ensure that the microphone on the gadgets are muted and must always remain muted. All delegates may participate in the discussion through the chat room. In addition, I would like to remind delegates that the interpretation facility is active. Permanent delegates, members of the executive, special delegates, and SALGA representatives on the virtual platform are requested to ensure that the interpretation facility on their electronic devices are properly activated to facilitate access to the interpretation services. Honorable delegates, I'll now allow an opportunity to delegates to give notices of motion, strictly 20 minutes in total for notices of motion and motion without notice. But now it's notices of motion. Delegates who wish to give notices of motion should use the raise hand function, and it's 1 minute per motion. Table staff will please advise on the raised hand.
Honorable Mushodi, Chair.
Okay, first one, it's Honorable Ndongeni. Honorable
Thank
Ndongeni.
you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. I hereby move on behalf of the African National Congress that the House in its next sitting debate mechanism aimed at eradicating the increasingly unbecoming and violent behavior unleashed by ill-disciplined peoples who attack and intimidate teaching staff. I so moved, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Bartlett.
Thank you very much. And sorry for not switching on my video as I'm load sharing, Chair. Chair, I hereby move on behalf of the African National Congress that the House in its next sitting debate strengthening the initiatives and programs geared at confronting decisively gender-based violence and femicide by involving men to tackle their patriarchal attitudes and toxic masculinity. I thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Bartlett. Honorable Mama Rohane.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I hereby move on behalf of the African National Congress that the House in the next sitting debate collaborating with social partners to create and expand opportunities to offer support, finance, and market opportunities for young entrepreneurs. I so move, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. The last one will be Honorable Mushodi.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chairperson. I hereby move on behalf of the African National Congress that the House is its next sitting debate the strengthening of the partnership between the government and the private sector to expedite infrastructure, finance, and technical support as a means to accelerate the delivery of basic services, especially in the rural and poorly resourced municipality. Honorable Chairperson, I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mushodi. Honorable delegates, I will now allow an opportunity to delegates who wish to move motions without notice. The first is Honorable Khai.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable House Chairpersons, and greetings to you.
Honorable Khai.
Yes, on behalf of the African National Congress, Honorable Chairperson, we would like to hereby move without notice on behalf of the ANC that the Council notes and congratulate Honorable Ambassador Mohamed Dango, who was honored with the OR Tambo Lifetime Achievement Award at the 6th Ubuntu Awards that were held on Saturday, 12 February 2024 in Cape Town under the theme Celebrating Excellence in Diplomacy, Working Together to Build a Better Africa and Better World. Noted that the prestigious Ubuntu Awards recognize South African industry leaders, eminent individuals, and ordinary citizens who have made distinguished contributions in promoting South Africa's national interests and values globally. Further notes that the OR Tambo Lifetime Achievement Award is a prestigious honor bestowed upon individuals who have dedicated their lives to serving South Africa with distinction during or leading up to the new democratic dispensation, and acknowledges the indelible contribution that Ambassador Dango has made as an accomplished, dedicated, and astute diplomat and anti-apartheid activist for living up to the stature and noble ideals of Oliver Reginald Kaizana Tambo. I so move, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Thank you very much, Honorable Khai. The next one is Honorable Shaik.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and greetings. I rise on behalf of the African National Congress that this August House notes with pride the successive breakthroughs made by the police in the successful arrests of the perpetrators of organized violent crimes in the recent past. That this demonstrates the enhanced and improved gathering of intelligence and collaboration between law enforcement agencies. Further note with concern the increasing number of foreign nationals in the contractual murders. Therefore, we congratulate the men and women in blue for their courageous work of bringing these violent perpetrators to book, and further call on the ministers in our criminal justice clusters to strengthen collaboration with their counterparts in the SADC region in preempting, detecting, and arresting the foreign nationals who come to South Africa as part of the criminal syndicates to commit organized crimes. I so move. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Shai. Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The next one is Honorable Badenost.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I hereby move on behalf of the Democratic Alliance that this Council notes the courage and endurance displayed by the various firefighters across the Western Cape during the past 3 months while combating the devastating fires, also those fires that plagued the Oeverstrand region. Acknowledges the extent of the devastation of the fires that raged between Pringle Bay and Buffeljagtsrivier, which resulted in the loss and damage to 13 structures and more than 9,000 hectares of vegetation being destroyed. Recalls that more than 6,400 wildfires have been recorded in the Western Cape between December 2023 and February 2024, which destroyed more than 103,000 hectares of vegetation. Recognizes the work that the firefighting teams from Oeverstrand Fire and Rescue Services, assisted by the Oeverberg District Municipality, the City of Cape Town, George Municipality, Garden Route District Municipality, Stellenbosch Municipality, the Greater Oeverberg Fire Protection Association, Working on Fire, Sandparks, Cape Nature, the Western Cape Provincial Government, law enforcement agencies and landowners, ably supported by local farmers and communities who managed to mitigate the extent of these fires amidst soaring temperatures and strong winds. Express our gratitude to volunteer firefighter Mr. Frank Douglas specifically, who sadly lost his own family home in a blaze while actively fighting to protect the homes of residents in his neighborhood. Congratulate and further thank all firefighters who tirelessly combated these fires over the last few months. I so move.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Thank you, Honorable Badenost. The next is Honorable Fesser.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair. I rise hereby on behalf of the Democratic Alliance that this Council notes with concern the perceived inability of the Dr. Ruth Segomotsi Mompati District Municipality to comply with its constitutional obligations as a water and sanitation authority to supply reliable bulk water to the communities of the 5 local municipalities under its jurisdiction. Acknowledged further that this shortages in the bulk water supply threaten the livelihoods and well-being of the communities residing in Piet Plessis, Pomfret, Brey, Fostershoop, Geduldspan, Schweizer-Reneke, Ipilingeng, and Taung, who have been forced to become accustomed to these shortages as the new normal. Recognizes that although sewage was detected in Morokweng by the Department of Water and Sanitation, and despite the issuing of a pre-directive in 2023 already, dysfunctional sewer management continue to exacerbate the problem by contaminating boreholes and even resulting in raw sewer flowing into the Molopo River at Brey. Recalls also that Eskom disconnected electricity supply to water pumps in the district municipality due to the municipality's failure to settle an unpaid debt of 800 million rand. leaving the residents in these towns without access to any water continuously for days during a heat wave. Express our concern that the district municipality is seemingly not taking its responsibility to protect the basic human rights as enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa seriously by allegedly failing to take action to ensure a safe bulk water supply to the residents. Calls on the Department of Water and Sanitation and the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs to urgently intervene to ensure that a safe and reliable bulk water supply is re-established in the Dr. RSM District Municipality. I so move. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the motion?
Yes, Chair. There is a objection, Chair.
There being an objection, the motion may not be proceeded with and will become a notice of a motion. The next, it's Honorable Mama, Honorable Baby.
Oh, Baba, thank you very much, Baba. Greetings to you, colleagues, and compliments of the new season. I hereby move without notice on behalf of the African National Congress that the House commence the KwaZulu-Natal provincial government initiative of allocating a total of 22 million to support South African spaza shops, supermarkets, and general dealers in KwaZulu-Natal. And also notes that the funding of this initiative in form of the Zimele Traders Fund by the Itala Development Finance Corporation was announced by the Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs on Tuesday, 20th, 2024. Recalls that the idea behind the funding to assist spaza shops was announced towards the end of last year. And also understands the spaza shops owners, including supermarkets and general dealers in the province, who are strictly South Africans, can apply for a grant in the form of trading stock to the value of 20,000. Further understands that a total of about 11.9 million has been set aside for a soft loan of up to 100,000 at 2% interest for a cooperative and 4% fixed interest for a closed corporation. Also understands that a total of 10 million has been set aside to benefit targeting 500 spaza shops across the province. Also calls upon all eligible spaza shops owners, supermarkets, and general dealers to submit their applications for the grant as the applications opened on Tuesday, 20th February 2024, and will close on the 16th March 2024. I so move, my chairperson, Baba. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Ambassador, Honorable Tango.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairperson. I hope your shirt doesn't denote anything. However, I hereby move without notice on behalf of the African National Congress that the House welcomes the efforts of the partnership between the Gauteng government and the Vumacam-based company on fighting crime and crime syndicates to build safer communities in the Gauteng province. 2, acknowledges that crime impacts negatively on the economy. 3, understands that through this partnership, the Gauteng province received a much-needed boost to fight crime with access to an additional 6,000 CCTV cameras. 4, notes that the CCTV cameras are part of the Gauteng provincial government strategy to utilize technology to fight crime, and the cameras will go a long way into achieving that objective. Also understands that the CCTV cameras are being placed in townships, business districts, high crime areas, roads, schools, and other public places. 6, believes that the partnership between the Gauteng government and Vuma CAM will go a long way to strengthening collaboration between the private and public sectors, and further welcomes Vuma CAM's offering of an additional 5,000 partner cameras across South Africa. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Ambassador. Is there any objection to the motion?
I object to the province taking the shine for the private companies initiative.
There being an objection, the motion may not be proceeded with and will become notice of a motion. The next one is Honorable Miamang.
Just take note of Njado also, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Miamang.
Thank you, House Chair. Greetings to yourselves and the leadership of the National Council of Province. Honorable Chairperson, allow me to rise on behalf of the ANC that this August House notes with concern the political hypocrisy of the Democratic Alliance on the issue of cadre deployment policy of the ANC, which is an internal policy approach, as a cheap electioneering strategy, as evidenced in a letter by the former Western Cape MEC for local government, 1 DA municipal councils to appoint specific DA loyalists, as exposed by the ANC member of provincial legislature, Comrade Cameron Duckmore, that whilst the DA may seek to downplay this letter as an isolated act by one of its political delinquents, the truthfulness of the content of the letter has been confirmed and corroborated by one former DA mayor in the Midval, a certain Mr. Baloyi. Thirdly, that whilst the letter by Anton Bradell has been in public domain for a while, the DA has never said a word on this issue. Hence, their deafening silence is probably clear. Therefore, as the ANC, we condemn this hypocrisy of the ANC in the strongest possible terms.
DA, not ANC.
Challenge them to lay bare their records of ANC deployment.
You're objecting, Mrs. Lucas.
I so move, Honorable House Chairperson.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the motion?
Object to dishonesty. We object to dishonesty alive.
There will be.
Thank
There
you.
is an objection.
There will be.
There being an objection, the motion may not be proceeded with
Objection.
and will become notice of a motion.
Thank you, House Chair.
Die
Thank you,
verdraaide
Honorable
waarheid, hy
Nkosi.
moet vir homself lag, want hy weet nie eers wat hy lees nie.
Honorable Nkosi.
Nonsense.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chair. Greetings to your good self and my colleagues. I rise on behalf of the ANC that this August House notes with a deep sense of loss the tragic death of 8 supporters of the African National Congress who lost their lives in a bus accident as they were from the very successful launch of the ANC 2024 election manifesto at Moses Mabhida Stadium in eThekwini. That this tragic accident should bring to our attention the agency with which to address the challenges of road accidents in this country, which causes a lot of deaths and a huge cost the national fiscus billions of rands. Therefore, calls upon this August House to salute these fallen cadres of our movement for their unwavering commitment and loyalty to the African National Congress as the trusted movement of people for the victory of the National Democratic Revolution. We send our heartfelt condolences to their families, colleagues, friends, and the African National Congress and its alliance partners. I so move, Honorable House Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nkosi. Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Nchabele?
Thanks a lot, House Chair. House Chair, I'm rising without notice on behalf of the African National Congress to applaud the official launch of Mpilisweni School of Specialization in Gauteng Province. The NCOP applaud the official launch of the Mpilisweni Math, Science and ICT School of Specialization, which focuses on manufacturing and logistics in Katlehong, Ekurhuleni, on Tuesday, 13 February 2024. Notes that the public secondary school in Mpilisweni specializes in manufacturing and logistics, and the school seeks to benefit the economic development corridor in which it is located. Also of significance to note is that Mpilisweni is a no-fee school, which relies entirely on Section 21 allocation for financial upkeep and has maintained a 90% plus metric pass for the past 3 years. Recognizes that the learners from the school are demonstrating a wide array of advanced skills, which include a smart truck that they built, which uses solar power instead of petrol. Wow. Believes that learners in Mpilisweni will go a long way in benefiting from a wide array of skills within the manufacturing and logistics industry. And acknowledges again the Gauteng government's initiative in streamlining some of its schools' focus to match the economic development corridors so that they can respond to the skills gap of each corridor, and encourages more initiatives here that advancing reforms in skills development, especially at the secondary school level, so as to give kids a foundation and a future in filling the skill gap that is plunging our country. I so move, and forgive me for not switching my phone on, my camera on, because my network is compromised. Thank you. I so move, Chair.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Nsube will be the last one.
Thank you very much, House Chairperson. I hereby move without notice on behalf of the African National Congress that the Council notes with the utmost concern the brutal and senseless murder of the Dr. Michael Isabel, a Dobsonville general practitioner, during a robbery at his practice on Saturday, the 24th of February afternoon in Dobsonville, Soweto in the Gauteng province. Calls on the Minister of Police and the MEC of Community Safety in the Gauteng province to ensure that the police mobilize resources to ensure that the murderers of the Dr. Michael Isabel are brought to book to face the full might of the law for the senseless murder of the community servant who has dedicated his life serving the people of Soweto and Gauteng at large. Takes this opportunity to convey its profound condolences to the family of Dr. Michael Isabel for the tragic loss and wishes the strength in the difficult times. I so move, Chairperson. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Nsube. Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. To those that have left out, we've already exceeded the 20 minutes allocated to motions, honorable members. Now we'll move to the next item on the order paper. I'll call upon the Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable Chief Whip. Ntate Mohai. Honorable Chief Whip.
House Chair.
Yes.
I move the motion on the order paper be accepted as is. I so move.
Thank you, Ntate Mohai. Before we proceed to voting on the motion, I shall put the question, and the question is that the motion be agreed to. Before we proceed to voting, I will allow provinces the opportunity to make their declaration of vote in terms of Rule 86, if they so wish, maximum 3 per declaration. Any province? If we don't have any province to do declaration, I'll now call upon provinces to cast their votes. When heads are called upon, they must indicate whether they vote in favor, against, or abstain. Eastern Cape?
Eastern Cape iyavuma sihlalo.
Thank you. Free State?
Free State, we vote in favor, Chairperson.
Thank you. Gauteng?
Gauteng in favor, Chairperson.
Thank you. KwaZulu Natal?
iKwaZulu Natal yaweseka umbiko sihlalo.
Thank you. Limpopo?
Limpopo vote in favor, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. Mpumalanga?
Mpumalanga vote in favor, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Northern Cape?
Northern Cape vote in favor, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. Northwest?
Northwest.
Northwest?
In favor, Chair.
Thank you.
Vote in
Western
favor, Chair.
Cape? Thank you.
Western Cape
Western
support.
Cape?
Western Cape support.
Thank you, Western Cape. Voting is now closed.
Western Cape.
9 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the motion agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we now proceed to the first order. Consideration of Eskom Debt Relief Amendment Bill B3A-2023, National Assembly Section 77, and the report on Select Committee on Appropriation, thereon announcement, tabling. I will now call upon Honorable DG Mahlangu, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Appropriation, to present the committee report. Honorable Mahlangu.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair, Honorable Chairperson and Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Honorable members, permanent and special delegate present on the platform, and fellow South Africans. Honorable Chairperson, it's my pleasure and privilege to table before this August House a report on the Eskom Debt Relief Amendment Bill on behalf of the Select Committee on Appropriations. The committee adopted the report while the Democratic Alliance, the FF+, the EFF have reserved their positions. The Eskom Debt Relief Amendment Bill proposed to amend Section 2 of the Eskom Debt Relief Act and was tabled in Parliament by the Minister of Finance together with the 2023 Medium-Term Budget Policy Statement, the MTBPS, on the 1st of November 2023. The bill was referred to the Committee for consideration and report to the House. After being briefed by the National Treasury, the committee consulted with the Financial and Fiscal Commission and the PBO. COSATU made a written submission and further made an oral presentation during a public hearing held on the 1st of December 2023, and 2 written submissions were received from Dear SQTH at pegasus.asere.co.za platform. After intense deliberations, Honorable Chairperson, the committee made the following recommendation to the bill: that the Minister of Finance should gazette the proposed amendment of Section 2 of the Eskom Debt Relief Act to provide for payment of interest by Eskom on amounts advanced as a loan, and for the Minister of Finance to be able to reduce the amounts for the requirements of Eskom in the event of non-compliance with conditions, and that these may not exceed 5% of the allocation. That the National Treasury, together with the Eskom, should, within 60 days of the adoption of the report by this August House, take steps to ensure that the interest charged to Eskom is not passed on to poor and vulnerable consumers. Honorable Chairperson, Parliament, through its relevant sector committees, should continue to monitor through implementation of the Eskom debt relief program. Chairperson and honorable members, we also recommended that the National Treasury, together with the Department of Corporate Governance, SALGA and Provincial Departments of Corporate Governance, should, within 90 days of the adoption of this report by this August House, as we presented today, ensure that municipalities develop clear measures to apply effective revenue enforcement and credit control mechanisms to improve billing and accounting system to increase payment and cost coverage levels. Honorable members, the committee also recommended that it should view that the revocation of municipal electricity distribution licenses in the case of non-compliance may be too harsh, and that other better alternative mechanisms should be considered to address non-compliance without eroding electricity distribution as a municipal revenue source. We also recommended that National Treasury, together with the Department of Public Enterprise, the Department of Electricity, and Eskom, should, within 90 days of the adoption of this report by this House, take steps to deal with fiscal leakages and ensure an accurate, cost-effective regime with a view to address irregular, wasteful, and fruitless expenditure, which is not acceptable. Honorable Chairperson, the committee also recommended that National Treasury, together with the Department of Electricity, the Department of Public Enterprise, and Eskom, should, within 60 days of the adoption of the report by this House, come up with a clear and decisive implementation action to end load shedding, which has affected many small and medium-sized businesses and continuously impact negatively on the much-needed economic growth. The committee is of the view that the impact of the current energy crisis government's efforts to address socio-economic issues such as high levels of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Let me take this opportunity, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, in conclusion, by thanking the committee members for their wavering commitment throughout the processing of this bill, the provincial finance or treasury committees who were always available for their contribution, committee stakeholders, the media, the public who has come to public hearings, the committee support staff. We really appreciate your contribution. The committee, therefore, recommends to this August House that the bill be adopted without amendment. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Ngiyathokoza.
Honorable DG, thank you. I now put the question. The question is that the bill be agreed to. Before we proceed to voting, I shall allow political parties the opportunity to make their declaration of votes in terms of Rule 7(8), if they so wish, maximum 3 minutes per declaration of vote. Delegates, let me allow that process. Any political party?
Yes, the EFF chair.
Chairperson,
Honorable
the IFP
Dlamini.
chair. Yes, my hand is raised, Chair. Thank you.
My hand is also raised, Chair. Before you allow the declarations.
My hand as well, Chairperson, IFP.
One per political party. So Honorable Makwala and Honorable Dlamini, who must I take?
Dlamini is the highest authority, so you can speak.
Thank you. Honorable Dlamini.
Thank you so much, Chair. But the issue that we want to raise before we proceed is that there are members of the EFF who have been on the waiting room for a while. We are asking the support staff to let them in the session, please.
Okay.
Then I can proceed with my declaration.
Can those that are on the waiting room be allowed to get in, but you can proceed, Honorable Dlamini? I think we've brought that to their attention. They will be assisted accordingly.
Thank you, Chair. The Economic Freedom Fighters rejects the proposed Eskom debt relief bill. As the EFF, we agree that we need to recapitalize Eskom and we need to give Eskom enough money to maintain its overall generation, transmission, and distribution infrastructure. Complete their outstanding work in Madupe and Kusile power plants as soon as possible and build additional generation capacity. However, this bill presented before us today seeks to do the opposite. This bill does not solve any problems. If anything, it will only fast-track the national grid collapse. This bill we are tabling today should be allocating money to new and additional generation, additional capacity to bring additional electricity to the grid, to protect the economy and improve our people's livelihoods. The bill should be allocating money to insulate essential services such as water supply, clinics, small and medium enterprises, and other essential infrastructures from damages that may occur as a result of electricity blackout or complete grid collapse. We should be allocating money to attract investment in all special economic zones for manufacturing solar panels, inverter batteries, and all other electronic equipment that are essential for hybrid and off-grid solutions. The bill that should be before us today, seeking our approval for the allocation of money, should be a bill that seeks to give our people in informal settlements and townships immediate and practical solutions to deal with electricity blackouts. It should be a bill that seeks to give small businesses some relief so that they could continue to operate when the national grid is under pressure. But we know there is no capacity. We do not understand why the Minister of Enterprises has not resigned, because we have repeatedly told him that he has failed the people of South Africa and he must resign. The EFF rejects the proposed Eskom debt relief bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Pungan, IFP.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. As the IFP has previously stated, we find ourselves in a never-ending cycle of bailouts when it comes to Eskom. Every few months, we are considering the exact same solutions and allocating more money. Eskom's problems are not financial. They are structural and deeply immersed in corruption, greed, and the government's failure. However, Honorable Chairperson, the problem at Eskom are again man-made and carefully crafted to ensure the deliberate and total collapse of the entity. I say this because time and time again, the IFP has called for the government to prioritize public-private partnerships. However, our calls have fallen on deaf ears. Our practical solutions have been ignored. This could only be because the government wants to keep Eskom in the dire and collapsing state it is in. Notwithstanding, Honorable Chairperson, the IFP support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Pungan. Honorable Ryder, DA.
Thank you very much, House Chair. This amendment bill is a half-hearted attempt at fixing a bad bill that was passed by this House on the 21st of June last year. The Democratic Alliance opposed that bill, and some of the reasons that
Honorable Ryder, unmute.
Yeah, Chair, it's telling me that the host muted me.
Sorry for that.
Thank you very much. I'll start over, Chair. This amendment bill is a half-hearted attempt at fixing a bad bill that was passed by this House on the 21st of June of last year. The Democratic Alliance opposed that bill, and some of the reasons that we gave for opposing the bill are addressed in this amendment. If only you'd listened back then. But yet we still cannot support a bill that just allows Eskom to continue down the same path without a real step change. Eskom is killing South Africans by taking food off of their tables. The sustained load shedding is breaking businesses and driving up the costs of basic goods and food as businesses turn to expensive standby electricity generations. But more than that, Eskom's ridiculous price hikes are driving up the cost of living. Every single industry that supplies food, clothes, services, and essential needs to South Africans uses electricity. Electricity is a cost driver of every single industry. And so, each time that the toothless NERSA allows Eskom to increase the cost of electricity by the massive amounts that they have granted for the past 10 years, the cost of goods that South Africans need goes up. That is inflation. Eskom is driving up inflation. And that is why the Reserve Bank is keeping interest rates high, because of inflation, because of Eskom. The Democratic Alliance has got a plan to fix this. Our energy and electricity policy is available on our website and details exactly how we plan to rescue South Africa from the doldrums that the ANC has steered us into. Unbundling Eskom was our suggestion. The ANC finally came around and agreed, but now they are moving so slowly on this that it is clear that there is no political will to drive this. South Africans suffer as the economy grows slower than our population does, making us poorer every day. But ministers with hands in the tender process steal billions and do not want to unbundle because it will reduce their opportunities to loot. A wise man once said that the minister doesn't support progress because nobody can steal wind or sunlight. This bill is a weak attempt to improve a flawed piece of legislation that does not take South Africa forward. Eskom's debt, incurred through gluttonous state capture with the help of inept, complicit and corrupt cadres deployed to Eskom, is not adequately fixed by this comb-over of a bill. We reject the bill and we call on South Africans to reject the crafters of the bill when they get the chance on the 29th of May. Thank you, House Chair.
Thank you. We, delegates, will now proceed to voting. We'll allow 15 seconds to delegates who are outside the virtual platform to join the House. Thank you, honorable delegates. We now proceed to voting on the question. And the question is that the bill be agreed to. Delegates who vote in favor should please raise their hands. Please keep your hands raised.
Njadu, vote in favor, Chair.
Okay.
I hope mine is visible, Chair. I can't see it here.
I'm also in favor. I'm struggling to find the icon.
Okay.
After 5 years, people still
Angibona
don't.
isandla sami lana siphakama.
Okay. Bring it to the
Angisa.
attention. The table will note your hand if you have indicated as such.
Chair, my hands is up.
Yes.
Gwenya.
The table is noting that, House Chair. Thank you. The count is completed. The table will lower all hands to prepare for the next vote. Delegates who vote against, please raise their hands. Please keep your hands raised.
Makwala is the first one to reject.
We are noting it as such, Honorable Makwala. The count is completed. The table will lower all hands to prepare for the next vote. Delegates who abstain should please raise their hands. Those who abstain, the table will lower all the hands. Voting is now closed. The table will submit the results. In favor, the results are as follows. In favor, 25. Against, 15. Abstain, 0. That's the results. It's clear, colleagues. In favor is 25. Against, it's 15. Then abstention, it's 0. So it's clear, colleagues, that the bill is agreed to as per the outcome. So the bill is agreed to in terms of Section 75 of the Constitution as per the outcome of the votes as I've announced the results. Thank you very much. We now proceed to the second order, consideration of the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill. I call upon Honorable S. Shaik, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Security and Justice, to present the committee report. Honorable Shaik.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and greetings to your good self and to all honorable members. Honorable Chair, the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill gives effect to 2 Constitutional Court judgments, the Prince judgment and the Center for Child Law judgment. In the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development and Others versus Prince, the Constitutional Court declared Sections 4 subclause B and Sections 5B read with Part 3 of Schedule 2 of the Drugs and Drug Trafficking Act and Sections 22A subclause 9A1 of the Medicines and Related Substances Act, read with Schedule 7 of Government Notice Number R509 of 2003, unconstitutional, on the premise that they criminalize the use or possession of cannabis by an adult for that adult's personal consumption in private in violation of the right to privacy. The court suspended the order of invalidity for 24 months to give Parliament an opportunity to correct the constitutional defects in the Drugs Act and the Medicines Act. The court granted interim relief by way of a reading in to ensure that during the period of suspension of invalidity, it would not be a criminal offense for an adult person to use or be in possession of cannabis for his or her personal consumption in private, and to cultivate cannabis in a private place for his or her personal consumption in private. The wide-scale commercial production of hemp is prohibited in terms of the Drugs Act and the Medicines Act. The Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development has requested that the Drugs Act and the Medicines Act be amended to provide for the commercial production of hemp in South Africa. Furthermore, Honorable Chair, in the Center for Child Law versus the Director of Public Prosecutions and Others, the Constitutional Court declared Section 4 subclause B of the Drugs Act to be inconsistent with the Constitution and invalid to the extent that it criminalizes the use or possession of cannabis by a child. The court reiterated the need for a social response to cannabis use or possession by a child and concluded that the response should be wholly centered on rehabilitation, support, and recognizing the inherent vulnerability of the child. And as such, the response should not be located within the criminal justice system. The bill therefore creates a new legal framework to govern cannabis for private use by adults and alternative means to deal with children and cannabis use, in line with the Constitution and the Constitutional Court judgments handed down in Prince and the Center for Child Law in 2018 and 2022, respectively. The Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill therefore seeks to respect the right to privacy of an adult person to use or possess cannabis, regulate the use or possession of cannabis by an adult person, provide for an alternative manner by which to address the issue of the prohibited use, possession of, or dealing in cannabis by children with due regard to the best interests of the child. Prohibit the dealing in cannabis, provide for the expungement of criminal records of persons convicted of possession or use of cannabis or dealing in cannabis on the basis of a presumption, amend provisions of certain laws, and provide for matters connected therewith. Honorable Chair, in response to the Select Committee on Security and Justice invitation for public written comments, the committee received a total of 46 submissions. 19 substantive submissions were received on the bill. Submissions of a more general nature were received from 13 individuals and organizations. In addition to comments on the substance of the bill, the issue of trade or commercialization of cannabis was raised in public comments, which is not covered in this bill. On the 25th of January 2024, the Select Committee received a briefing from the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development on the public submissions received on the bill. At this meeting, the Parliamentary Legal Advisor also clarified that the bill had been correctly tagged as a Section 75 bill and that there had been extensive public participation on the bill, both in the National Assembly as well as in the National Council of Provinces. Further, during this meeting, the department informed the committee that the right to cultivate is not prohibited by the bill. Instead, Clause 4, Subclause 5 prohibits the cultivation of cannabis in excess of the number of plants that will be determined by the minister in the regulations. Honorable Chair, the bill responds to the Prince judgment, which legalized the use, possession, and cultivation of cannabis for personal consumption. The legalization of cannabis for personal use gives effect to the adult's right to privacy. The bill does not, however, give children the right to use or possess cannabis. The bill provides for alternative means to deal with children and cannabis use. Furthermore, the bill provides for penalties which had been significantly reduced during the Portfolio Committee in Justice deliberations on the bill. The sale of cannabis, however, will be regulated by the contemplated national legislation to be promoted by another national department and not the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. The committee welcomed the bill, and in particular that the bill aims to protect children, but at the same time allows adults to exercise their rights to privacy. Honorable Chair, the Select Committee on Security and Justice, having considered the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill B19B 2020, a Section 75 bill, referred to it on the 14th of November 2023, recommends the Council pass the bill without proposed amendments. I so move. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Shaik. I now put the question. The question is that the bill be agreed to. Before proceed to voting, I shall allow political parties the opportunity to make their declaration of votes in terms of Rule 78 if they so wish. Maximum 3 minutes per declaration of vote. Delegates who wish to do so may proceed. It seems as if we don't have political parties that are going to do the declaration of votes. We'll now allow the 15 seconds to delegate.
Chair.
Honorable Dlamini.
Yes, the EFF would like to make it.
You must always be very alert. You are recognized.
Slowed down by the load shedding of the ANC. Apologies.
No, there's no need for that remark. We are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, The Economic Freedom Fighters is in support of the Cannabis for Private Purpose Bill. While we support the bill, we think that the provisions of Clause 2, in particular in relation to the decriminalization of use and possession of cannabis, while criminalizing the sale of cannabis, counters the purpose of the bill. Not everyone will be in the position to grow cannabis for private use. So those who use it must buy it from somewhere. There are rural communities, particularly in areas in and around Emapondweni in the Eastern Cape, who are exclusively dependent on the production and sale of cannabis. They have been doing this for generations and know no other economic activity. This bill will criminalize those old men and women and condemn them to go to jail for a period of 10 years. We do, however, welcome the expansion of criminal records of people who have been found guilty of the crime of possessing cannabis. Overall, the bill is still extremely limiting and does not provide for economic exploitation of the herb. The EFF is in support of the bill, but we feel that much more quickly. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Bartlett.
Yes, Chair. Sorry, Chair. I just once more apologize because we have load sharing, Chairperson. Chairperson, the ANC supports the cannabis bill for private purposes. In the case of Minister for Justice, Constitutional Development, and others versus Prince 2018, the Constitutional Court anonymously declared certain sections of the Drug Act and the Medicine Act unconstitutional and invalid. To the extent indicated because they infringe the right to privacy as enshrined in Section 14 of the Constitution. The effect of the judgment is twofold. Chairperson, it does criminalize the use or possession of cannabis by an adult in private, for that adult person's personal consumption in private, and also it discriminalizes the cultivation of cannabis by an adult in a private place, Chair, for that adult personal consumption in private. However, the use or possession of cannabis by a child anywhere or by an adult in public is not decriminalized. In the case of Center for Child Law versus Director of Public Prosecutions, Johannesburg and others, the court made the following remarks. Children are precious members of our society, and any law that affects them must have due regard to their vulnerability and their need for guidance. We have a duty to ensure that they receive the support and assistance that is necessary for their positive growth and development. Considering Section 28(2) of the Constitution, which states that A, child's best interests are of paramount importance in every matter concerning the child. The court then posed a question, is it in the best interest of the child to continue to criminalize the use and or possession of cannabis by a child? The court went on to say, it is implausible that claim that the child has a right to personal consumption of cannabis in private. There are valid reasons to protect children from the use of drugs. This matters about the consequences of use and or possession of cannabis by a child. Our focus in this matter is on discriminalization, not legislation. It is about choosing the appropriate manner in which to respond to a child using or possessing cannabis. Honorable Chair, the focus of the Prince judgment was the right to privacy, and that of the Center for Child Law judgment was the best interest of the child. The ANC supports the bill. I thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Bartlett. Honorable delegates, we'll now allow the 15 seconds to delegates who are outside the virtual platform to join so that we can be able to proceed to voting. Thank you very much, honorable delegates. We now proceed to the voting on the question, and the question is that the bill be agreed to. Delegates who vote in favor should please raise their hands. Please keep your hands raised.
Jado, favor.
Okay, you'll be noted as such. The count is completed. The table will lower all hands to prepare for the next vote.
In support.
Okay, you're noted as such.
Chairperson, I'm support.
Thank you. Noted as such. Then let all the hands be lowered now so that we can prepare for the next vote. Thank you. Delegates who vote against should please raise their hands. Please keep your hands raised. Those voting against. The count is completed. Can you lower the hands, please? Delegates who abstain should please raise their hands. Thank you. The table will lower all the hands. Voting is now closed. The table will submit the results. In favor, it's 40. Against, 3. Abstention, 0. The bill is agreed to in terms of Section 75 of the Constitution. Thank you very much. We are now moving to the next third order paper. The next item on the order paper. Thank you, Honorable Shaik, for... I think we're now going to get again. We'll proceed to the third order, consideration of the divorce amendment bill. It's again Honorable Shaik, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Justice, Security. Honorable Shaik.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and once again, greetings to yourself and to all honorable members of this August House. Honorable Chairperson, on the 28th of June 2022, the Constitutional Court handed down a landmark judgment in Women's Legal Center Trust versus President of the Republic of South Africa and others, known as the WLCT judgment. The court recognized the need for and the importance of protecting Muslim women and children of Muslim marriages on dissolution of a Muslim marriage. The Constitutional Court held that the Divorce Act was unconstitutional to the extent that it failed to recognize Muslim marriages which have not been registered as civil marriages as valid marriages. The Constitutional Court held that the Divorce Act was inconsistent with the Constitution, Sections 9, equality, 10, human dignity, 28, subclause 2, which refers to a child's best interest, and clause 34, access to the courts. Specifically, Section 6, Section 7, subclause 3, and 9, subclause 1 of the Divorce Act were declared to be unconstitutional, as on the dissolution of the marriage, these failed to safeguard the interests of a minor or dependent children of Muslim marriages in the same manner as children of other marriages. They also failed to provide for the redistribution of assets and also failed to make provision for the forfeiture of patrimonial benefits in the same terms as other dissolved marriages. Parliament was given 24 months to remedy the constitutional defect, that is by the 28th of June 2024. With regard to amendments to the Marriage Act, the Department of Justice and the Department of Home Affairs have been engaging extensively on the Department of Home Affairs proposed marriage bill to align timeframes and policy approaches insofar as possible between the marriage bill and this bill. It is now apparent that the parallel timing of the marriage bill and the Divorce Amendment Bill is not possible given the shortened period to process bills as a result of the rising of Parliament due to the elections. The WLCT judgment is a departure from the current position. Muslim couples who choose to marry according to Islamic law can only rely on the Divorce Act if they also conclude and register a civil marriage. The bill seeks to amend the Divorce Act in order to address the issues in the WLCT case. The bill aims to provide recognition of and protection for Muslim women and children of Muslim marriages on the dissolution of a Muslim marriage. The bill will not require a separate civil registration of a Muslim marriage in order for the parties to a Muslim marriage to rely on the provisions of the Divorce Act, recognizing the validity of a Muslim marriage for the purposes of civil divorce. The bill does not constitute or replace Islamic divorce. Women who are in Muslim marriages and wish to be granted a religious divorce will still need to follow Islamic law. Therefore, the Divorce Amendment Bill seeks to define a Muslim marriage, provide for the protection and to safeguard the interests of dependent and minor children of a Muslim marriage, provide for the redistribution of assets on the dissolution of a Muslim marriage, provide for the forfeiture of patrimonial benefits of a Muslim marriage, and to provide for matters connected therewith. Honorable Chair, in the Select Committee's request for public submissions, the committee received 5 submissions on the bill. The department, in its response to the public submissions on the bill, was clear that the bill addresses the Constitutional Court judgment in Women's Legal Center Trust versus President of the Republic of South Africa and others, and that the remaining matters will be addressed in the Marriage Court of the Department of Home Affairs. The department, on request from the committee, also spent some time explaining the rationale in respect of the retrospective application in the bill, which is limited to balance the rights and interests of Muslim women and children and third parties, and to limit potential unintended consequences. On the 14th of February 2024, the committee adopted the bill without proposed amendments. The committee is of the view that the bill will go a long way in protecting the rights of women in the dissolution of Muslim marriages, as well as children born of those marriages. Further, that this bill is important in advancing women's rights in South Africa. Honorable Chair, the Select Committee on Security and Justice, having considered the Divorce Amendment Bill B-22-2023, referred to it on the 15th of November 2023 and classified by the JTM as a Section 75 bill, recommends that the Council pass the bill without proposed amendments. I thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shaikh. I now put the question. The question is that the bill be agreed to. Before proceed to voting, I shall allow political parties the opportunity to make their declaration of vote in terms of Rule 7.8 if they so wish. Honorable Dlamini.
Thank you, Chair. The Economic Freedom Fighters is in support of the Divorce Amendment Bill. This bill is a step in the right direction in bringing previously excluded groups into the protection given to most by the Constitution. We are in support of the amendment that now ensures that Muslim marriages would be treated the same as civil marriages. We particularly support the provision that these sorts of marriages can also be dissolved by the courts. This gives the certainty of judicial supervision of marriage dissolution proceedings, which women married according to the Muslim customs were not provided with. We also welcome the extension of support after dissolution of marriage to minor and dependent children of couples married in accordance with the Islamic rites. Chairperson, the fact that it has taken this long to regulate the rights of couples in Muslim marriages is very concerning. It speaks to the need to have a law of general application relating to marriages, while still maintaining the rights and integrity of customs and those who adhere to specific beliefs and customs. The ultimate goal must to ensure that while the institution of marriage is respected, women and children in particular, who have been victims of abuse and neglect, get the full spectrum of rights available to them. We support the bill.
Thank you, Honorable Dlamini. Honorable Bartlett.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chair, the ANC rises in support of the Divorce Amendment Bill B-2223. The bill is as a result of a Constitutional Court judgment in the case of Women's Legal Center Trust versus President of the Republic of South Africa and others. The court recognized the need for and importance protecting Muslim women and children of Muslim marriages, particularly upon the dissolution of a Muslim marriage. The court recognized that the non-recognition of Muslim marriages in civil law has the effect that a person married in terms of Islamic law only has no right to approach a court of law for a decree of divorce. Furthermore, the Constitutional Court held the Divorce Act unconstitutional as it fails to safeguard the interests of minor or dependent children of Muslim marriages in the same manner as their children. Honorable Chair, considering the dictates of a free democratic society where human rights are entrenched, the court remarked that there was no justification ordered as to why children born of Muslim marriages should not enjoy the automatic court oversight of Section 6 of the Divorce Act in relation to their care and maintenance. Chairperson, the strategic objective of the ANC is the transformation of our country into a united, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous society. Chairperson, the question of gender equality, as framed within the principle of non-sexism, is central to the ANC's program of the National Democratic Revolution. The bill is important for the advancement of women's rights as well as those of children. It contributes to a more just and equal society. I close off with the words of the longest-serving president of the ANC, President O.R. Tambo, when he said, "South Africa will never be free as long as women are not free." And Chair, indeed, the basis on which to judge the liberation of a country is to know the extent to which women are free. Honorable Chairperson, the ANC supports this bill. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable delegates, we'll now proceed to voting. I'll allow 15 seconds to delegates who are outside the virtual platform to join the House. Thank you very much. We'll now proceed to voting on the question, and the question is that the bill be agreed to. Delegates who wish to vote in favor should please raise their hands. Please keep your hands raised.
Jadu support, Chair.
Thank you. The count is completed. The table will lower all hands to prepare for the next vote. Delegates who vote against should please raise their hands. Please keep your hands raised. Thank you. The table will lower all hands to prepare for the next vote. Delegates who abstain, please raise your hands. The count is completed. The table will lower all hands. Voting is now closed. The table will submit the results. The results are as follows: in favor, 38, against, 0, abstain, 0. The bill is agreed to in terms of Section 75 of the Constitution. In favor, it's 39, 39, not 38, 39. Let me correct that. Then against, it's 3, abstention, it's 0. So the bill is agreed to in terms of Section 75 of the Constitution. We now move to the fourth order, consideration of the report of the Select Committee on Social Services. It is about the ratification of the Protocol of African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of older persons in Africa. Honorable Njando, the chairperson, will present the report. Honorable Njando.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all the members. Chairperson, the report of the Select Committee on Health and Social Services on the ratification of the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of older people in Africa, dated 1st December 2023. Chairperson, the Select Committee on Health and Social Services, herewith the committee, having considered the rectification of the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of older persons in Africa, reports as follows. The government of the Republic of South Africa is one of the African Union AU member states that adopted the protocol to the African Charter of Human and People's Rights on the rights of older persons in Africa on the 31st of January 2016. This took place at the 26th ordinary section of the AU Assembly of Heads of States and Government in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The protocol is a product of years of consultation to ensure the commitments made by African South states on 2002 AU policy framework and plan of action on aging into regional human rights law. This is crucial given that older women and men in Africa continue experience discrimination, abuse, neglect, and violence in all spheres of life. Chairperson, the protocol is a transformative legal instrument providing norms and standards in ensuring respect and protection of the rights of older persons in Africa. The purpose of the protocol is to promote and protect the rights of older persons, and also guaranteed that older persons are entitled to contribute and participate in society. The adoption of the protocol would ensure that older persons are treated with dignity and respect, and as equal members of society. It will serve as a tool for the development of age-friendly policies and legislation that recognize the potential and talents of older persons. This will ensure the full enjoyment of the human rights and freedom in the increasingly aging societies. The protocol will set standards necessary elimination of a discrimination to ensure access to justice and equal protection before the law. To date, about 18 AU member states have ratified the protocol. This includes Zambia, Mozambique, and Lesotho. Signing and rectifying these protocols strengthen the multilateral and international measures created in Africa for the safeguarding of the interests of older persons. In addition, it will demonstrate South Africa's commitment to human rights in this area, while also providing further impetus to the consolidation of the protection of the rights of older persons domestically. Chairperson, in terms of parliamentary process, the ratification for the protocol was tabled in Parliament on the 26th of October 2023 and was referred to the committee on the 8th of November 2023. The committee received a briefing on the protocol from the Department of Social Development on the 1st of December 2023. The committee recommends that the House, in terms of Section 231(2) of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996, approves the protocol. Report to be considered. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Njandu. Once again, for tabling the report, I'll take the opportunity and give it to the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Honorable Mama, to take the process forward. Honorable Lucas.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chairperson, and good afternoon to all the members. And thank you, Honorable Delegates. I will now put the question. And the question is that the report be adopted. But before we proceed to voting, I shall allow provinces the opportunity to make the declarations of vote in terms of Rule 86 if they so wish. We shall now proceed to provinces if you want to make any declaration. If none, we shall proceed to the voting on the question. And the question is that the report be adopted. And I shall now call upon the provinces to cast their votes. When called upon heads of delegations, they must indicate whether they vote in favor, against, or abstain. And we will start with the Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape iyavuma mama.
Enkosi Mama. Free State.
Free State votes in favor.
Thank you very much. Gauteng.
Gauteng in favor, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. KwaZulu-Natal.
iKwaZulu-Natal iyayeseka star umbiko.
Ngiyabonga ma. Limpopo.
Limpopo vote in favor, Honorable Deputy Chair.
Thank you very much. Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga vote in favor, Honorable Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Mankosi. Northern Cape. Northern Cape.
Okay, vote in favor, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. Northwest.
Northwest, vote in favor, Chair.
Thank you very much. Western Cape.
Western Cape support.
Thank you very much. The voting is now closed. All provinces have voted in favor, and I therefore declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we will now proceed to the fifth order, the consideration of the report of the Select Committee on Security and Justice, progress of executive undertakings made by the Minister of Police during the taking Parliament to the people in Ugu District, Municipality KwaZulu-Natal, from 14 to 18 November 2022, referred to the committee on 4th August 2023, dated 29 November 2023. And I will once again call on the Honorable Shaida Sheikh, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Security and Justice, to present the committee report. Over to you, Honorable Sheikh.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Chairperson, and greetings to your good self. Greetings to all honorable members. Honorable Chair, the Minister of Police made 6 executive undertakings during the taking Parliament to the people in Ugu District Municipality, KwaZulu-Natal, which took place from the 14th to the 18th of November 2022. The executive undertakings are as follows. The first executive undertaking is related to an agreement that the National Department, the Speaker of the Provincial Legislature, and MEC for Transport and Community Safety will visit Umziwabantu local municipality on the 28th of November 2022 to attend to taxi violence that has engulfed the area. The second undertaking related to moving the Msinsini police station, which remained operating far from communities, and that there are engagements with traditional leaders in the area to move that police station. The third executive undertaking related to a mobile substation for Kwamgwai, which was finalized, and the minister undertook that it will be introduced shortly. The fourth executive undertaking related to the Ramalake substation handover, where the launch could not happen due to heavy rains and that the station should not be closed at night. It should be staffed at all times, and the department will open the station officially. The fifth executive undertaking relates to stipends for CPFs, community policing forums. The minister undertook to further investigate options in relation to stipends for CPFs and related structures. The executive undertaking 6, internal discipline. The minister stated that SAPS will work hard to root out police officials who do not serve the people and become involved in criminality. Honorable Chairperson, on the 22nd of November 2022, Minister Tsele and relevant officials of the department appeared before the Select Committee on Security and Justice to report on the progress made in implementing these executive undertakings. The committee received the minister's response to each executive undertaking and was satisfied with the minister's response to the undertakings made or the progress thereof. The committee made the following observations and findings. The committee noted that issues of policing safety and security was prominently brought to the delegation's attention in Ubu district. The committee commended the station commander for being on top of issues of crime, communication, and interaction with the community. The committee urged the minister to continue building on the important collaboration between the police and communities in the fight against crime. The committee acknowledged the minister's report that a means of traveling and transportation was offered to the community policing forums to enable their effective functioning. With the necessary support, equipment, and material transport, the CPF must work with the police in the fight against crime. The CPFs are an important component of the whole police service in our country. The committee noted that the minister must consider giving priority in the next financial year to CPFs. On the issue of discipline of the police members, the committee appreciated the measures taken by the department. The committee congratulated the minister on the work they are doing within all provinces, including the Western Cape, and the committee noted that South Africa has a national police service that must serve the whole country. Honorable Chair, the committee therefore urges and recommends that the department step up its efforts to remedy the challenges with regard to CPFs and finalize the draft resourcing model to properly resource the CPFs in the next financial year. The committee acknowledges that the fight against crime requires collaboration and therefore recommends that the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster should work together in the fight against crime. The committee encourages the department to ensure that all necessary disciplinary measures are taken against implicated police members. Police members should conduct themselves in a manner above reproach to gain the confidence of the public in the fight against crime in South Africa. The committee recommends that the department should continue to work closely with communities and CPF structures to ensure that it understands the nature of crimes within specific communities so as to effectively fight crime. The committee urges cooperation and collaboration at all levels in the fight against crime. Honorable Chair, the report of the Select Committee on Security and Justice on the progress of executive undertakings made by the Minister of Police during the taking Parliament to the people in Ubu District Municipalities table for the House's consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sheikh and Honorable Delegates. I will now put the question, and the question is that the report be adopted. But before we proceed to voting, I shall allow provinces the opportunity to make their declarations of vote in terms of Rule 86 if they so wish. We shall, if provinces, any indication? I don't see. So we shall now proceed to the voting on the question. And the question is that the report be adopted, and we shall now call upon the provinces to cast their votes. When called upon, heads of delegations must indicate whether they vote in favor, against, or abstain. And we will start with Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape, my Chair.
Nkosima, Free State. Free State. Free State.
Vote in chair, Chairperson.
Free State.
Vote in favor.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Gauteng in favor, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal yaweseka umbiko sihlanu.
Ngiyabonga mama. Limpopo.
Limpopo vote in favor, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga vote in favor, Honorable Deputy Chair.
Thank you very much, Northern Cape.
Northern Cape vote in favor, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Northwest.
Bokwane Bupirima ya supporta modula sutulu wa nako.
Ngiyabonga. Sorry, Western Cape.
In favor, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Badenhorst. The voting is now closed. All provinces have voted in favor. I therefore declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we will now proceed to the sixth order, and that is the consideration of a report of Select Committee on Security and Justice, progress of executive undertakings made by the Minister of Home Affairs during the taking Parliament to the people in Ugu District Municipality, KwaZulu-Natal. As mentioned, the dates. I will now call on the Honorable Said Sheikh, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Security and Justice, to present the committee report. Over to you, Honorable Sheikh. You are working today for your money.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and greetings once again. Honorable Chair, the Minister of Home Affairs made 8 executive undertakings during the taking Parliament to the people in Ugu District Municipality, KwaZulu-Natal, which took place from the 14th to the 18th of November 2022. The following executive undertakings were made. The first undertaking related to Home Affairs officials limiting the number of people getting services per day. The Minister indicated that this issue is taken very seriously, and the Minister undertook to address staff behavior. Executive undertaking 2, the department will increase the number of mobile officers and will acquire another 120 mobile officers in the next financial year. The third executive undertaking, the department will acquire mobile officers with satellite dishes to minimize disruption during load shedding. The fourth executive undertaking related to the fact that the department wants new births to be registered within 30 days of birth and a birth certificate issued to guard against identity theft. The fifth executive undertaking, the department has piloted the provision of Home Affairs services at Menlyn Mall and is currently assessing if more services are made available to people. Executive undertaking 6, the department will be undertaking a digitization process. The department has 350 million records and 10,000 unemployed graduates with ICT qualifications, which will be hired to digitize the record system in the department. Executive undertaking 7, the department is addressing corruption biometrics with retina recognition. I introduced to curb the scourge of fraudulent documents. Arrests are being made concerning corrupt staff. However, investigations proved to be lengthy and costly. The 8th executive undertaking, SA Connect, seeks to meet the technology goals of the National Development Plan of creating an inclusive information society and position the government to play an enabling role in the provision of broadband to the number of underserved district municipalities and thereby bridge broadband connectivity gaps. Honorable Chairperson, on the 22nd of November 2023, Minister Motsoaledi and relevant officials of the department appeared before the committee to report on the progress made in implementing the executive undertakings under consideration. The committee received the minister's response to each executive undertaking and was satisfied with the progress that was made on the executive undertakings. The committee made the following observations and findings. The committee noted an improvement in the registration of children at birth. However, the committee noted that the accuracy of capturing must be improved. The committee welcomed the response from the minister explaining the rectification process that exists and the initiative by government to employ 1,000 unemployed graduates to digitize 350 million records. The committee congratulated the minister on following up on undocumented foreigners and citizens. But the issue of crime and corruption remains a question that needs addressing. The minister reminded the committee of successes in the past year with the department, and in particular at the time with a Pakistani national who was fraudulently producing passports. The committee requested clarity on how far the engagements with CETA were progressing and whether there was some kind of time frame when the matter will be addressed, and the minister indicated that they had raised their concerns and requirements at all times and are engaging with the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, the CSIR, to try and help on the issue. Honorable Chairperson, the committee recommended that the department focuses its efforts on increasing mobile support in rural areas throughout the country as vulnerable communities need these services the most, and this will enhance the prestige of the department. In respect of the registration of children at birth, the committee recommended that the department should implement training to ensure that upon registration, children's names are recorded correctly. The committee was of the view that this is a historical problem and that the department should address this with urgency. The committee urged the department to prioritize the needs of citizens in all their work and to ensure that their services are rolled out in a manner that takes into account the needs of citizens and communities. Members emphasize that service delivery is of paramount importance in addressing the needs of citizens effectively and ensuring that we are a responsive and caring government. The committee encouraged the department to continue with the good work it is doing in addressing corruption via the counter-corruption unit, as these steps are progress towards promoting and fostering respect between the department and citizens in terms of delivering services. The committee recommended that the department makes every effort to ensure that CETA is rolling out its services effectively and timelessly to improve service delivery throughout the country. In this regard, the department should make every effort to hold CETA accountable to ensure its services, to ensure that it delivers its services in a timely fashion. Honorable Chair, the report of the Select Committee on Security and Justice on the progress of executive undertakings made by the Minister of Home Affairs during the taking Parliament to the people in Ugu District Municipality is tabled for consideration. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sheikh. Honorable delegates, I will now put the question, and the question is that the report be adopted. But before we proceed to voting, I shall allow provinces the opportunity to make the declarations of vote in terms of Rules 86, if they so wish. Provinces. If there is none, we shall now proceed to the voting on the question. And the question is that the report be adopted. Thus, I shall call on provinces to cast their votes, and when called upon, heads of delegations must indicate whether they vote in favor, against, or abstain. Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape iyavuma.
Nkosima, Free State. Free State.
Free State vote in favor, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you. Free State vote in favor.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Mushodi. Gauteng.
Gauteng in favor, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. KwaZulu-Natal.
iKwaZulu-Natal yaweseka umbiko sihlalo, ngiyabonga.
Ngiyabonga ma. Limpopo. Limpopo.
Limpopo supports, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga supports, Chair.
Thank you very much, Northern Cape.
Northern Cape supports, Chair.
Thank you very much, Northwest.
Northwest supports, Chair.
Yalebogang Tate, Western Cape.
Support, Chair.
Thank you very much. The voting is now closed. All provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we will now proceed to the seventh order. Consideration of report of Select Committee on Trade and Industry, Economic Development, Small Business Development, Tourism, Employment and Labor, and ATC 21st February 2024, World Trade Organization Agreement on Fisheries, Subsidies Agreement, dated 20th February 2024. I will now call on the Honorable M.I. Khai, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Trade and Industry, Economic Development, Small Business Development, Tourism, Employment and Labor, to present the committee report. Over to you, Honorable Khai.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Greetings to you and honorable members. Honorable Chair, the World Trade Organization has been leading negotiations for over 20 years to tackle harmful subsidies in the fisheries sector. In 2022, at its 12th Ministerial Conference, the WTO achieved a major breakthrough with the establishment of the WTO Agreement on Fisheries Subsidies. This agreement aims to regulate subsidies that contribute to detrimental practices such as illegal fishing and overexploitation of marine resources. It introduces transparency measures to enhance reporting and monitoring of subsidies among WTO members, and emphasizes caution in providing subsidies to vessels not under a member's flag or related to unassessed fish stocks. While this agreement marks significant progress, negotiations continue to strengthen regulations targeting overcapacity and overfishing. Its effectiveness depends on collective acceptance by 2/3 of the WTO members, with provision for expiration if more comprehensive regulations aren't adopted within a specified timeframes. Overall, the agreement signifies a crucial step towards sustainable fisheries management, highlighting the importance of international cooperation in addressing environmental challenges. The agreement on fisheries subsidies, reached after more than 20 years of negotiations, involved all 164 members of the World Trade Organization, marks a significant achievement in global governance. It underscores the capacity of multilateralism to address complex and pressing issues, showcasing the WTO's role as a platform for meaningful cooperation on a global scale. This historic agreement, pending formal acceptance by 2/3 of the WTO members before implementation, represent a watershed moment for environmental governance within the WTO framework. By specifically targeting harmful subsidies in the fisheries sector, it sets a precedent for future multilateral engagements aimed at addressing other environmental challenges. Furthermore, the agreement is potential to catalyze broader reforms within the fisheries sector at both regional and national levels cannot be overstated. By compelling governments to prioritize the sustainability of the fish populations when allocating subsidies to their fleets, it lays a groundwork for more responsible and equitable fisheries management practices worldwide. Aligned with the objectives of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, particularly SDG 14.6, which calls for the action to prohibit certain forms of fisheries subsidies by 2020. This agreement represents a concrete step towards achieving international targets for sustainable development. Despite delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and other global crises, negotiators persevered, demonstrating a commitment to collective action in the face of adversity. The urgency of addressing harmful fisheries subsidies is underscored by the data from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization's 2022 State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture report, which reveals that 35% of fish stocks worldwide are exploited beyond sustainable levels. Moreover, the report highlights the staggering amount of $22 billion in subsidies annually that contribute to overfishing, primarily benefiting industrial fishing fleets. These subsidies artificially reduce operational costs, allowing fleets to engage in more extensive and intensive fishing activities, exacerbating the depletion of marine resources. In summary, this agreement on fisheries subsidy represents a landmark achievement in global governance, demonstrating the potential of multilateral cooperation to address the pressing environmental challenges. By targeting harmful subsidies in the fisheries sector, it lays the foundation for more sustainable and equitable fisheries management practices worldwide in alignment with the goals of the UN Sustainable Development Agenda. Let me quickly check towards the end. This agreement remains dynamic, allowing members to periodically review and potentially amend its provision based on experiences gained from its implementation. There are opportunities, Honorable Chair, for South Africa around the sustainable fisheries management, which I won't go into details, the economic development, the trade opportunities, capacity building and technical assistance that South Africa will receive, the regional cooperation. Towards the end, Chair, overall, the agreement on fisheries subsidies presents South Africa with an opportunity to promote sustainable fisheries management, stimulate economic development, enhance international trade opportunities, strengthening institutional capacities, and foster regional cooperation in the fisheries sector. By embracing these opportunities, South Africa can contribute to the global effort to conserve marine resources and promote the long-term sustainability of the ocean. The Select Committee on Trade, Industry, Economic Development, Small Business Development, Tourism, Employment and Labor, having considered the request for approval by Parliament on the World Trade Organization Agreement on Fisheries Subsidies, recommends that the House approve the agreement in terms of Section 231, subsection 2 of the Constitution. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable High. Honorable delegates, I will now put the question. And the question is that the report be adopted. But before we proceed to voting, I shall allow provinces the opportunity to make the declarations of vote in terms of Rules 86, if they so wish. Provinces, it's over to you. You've got an opportunity. If none, we shall now proceed to the voting on the question. And the question is that the report be adopted. And I shall now call upon the provinces to cast their votes. When called upon, heads of delegations must indicate whether they vote in favor, against, or abstain. And I will start with the Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape iyavuma mama.
Nkosi Mama, Free State.
Free State votes in favor, Deputy Chair.
Thank you very much, Gauteng.
Gauteng in favor, Deputy Chair.
Thank you very much, KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal yawesekho umbiko sihlalo mama.
Ngiyabonga me. Limpopo.
Limpopo in favor,
Limpopo
Chair.
supports, Chair.
Thank you, Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga.
I vote in favor, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Nkosi. Northern Cape. Northern Cape.
In favor, Chair. Northern Cape
you.
votes in favor.
Thank you, Musimane Happy. Northwest.
Northwest supports Honorable Deputy Chair of the NCOP.
Western Cape.
Western Cape supports.
Thank you very
Northern
much,
Cape.
Mama. The voting is now closed. All provinces have voted in favor, and I therefore declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, that concludes the business of the day. I would like to thank all permanent and special delegates for availing themselves. Thank you very much to everyone that contributed to the success of the House. The House is now adjourned. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Mama. Bye-bye.
Mama.
So, Mama.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mommy.
Recording
stopped.
Thank you, besties, bestie.
Siyabonga, Mama.
Bestie.
Bye, thank you, my fro.
Thank you, Mama.
Bye, Daki.
Advocate Pindela, any need for a meeting?
No need for a meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you, Advocate. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you.
Wendy?
Good, sorry for that.
I noticed you were busy somewhere. You can end the meeting.
Thank you.